And hello there! Today in this video we are going to upgrade previously showcased low-budget League Starter Archmage build into something different. This time around we will have even better physical damage mitigation and we will address our chaos damage defenses. This is mainly Archmage Ivory Tower guide and analysis. Is it actually any good on practice? Does path of building better damage numbers translate into better boss damage uptime, and does it actually better at tanking? This is still rather low investment build with only 2 items costing each around 5 to 7 exalts, and the key feature of this build is ability to use wide range of main spells. This time around we are using Guardian Ascendancy. If you want to swap from any other Templar Ascendancy, just fully refund your Ascendancy points and use Altar of Ascendancy in the end of the Labyrinth. Main idea behind this Ascendancy is ability to exploit low life modifiers and have great physical damage mitigation. For that reason we are going for Radiant Faith. We are using Ivory Tower chest with a lot of blood magic auras. So we are getting great amount of lead armor from Life Reservation alongside with energy shield from Ivory Tower and this Ascendancy. Then we allocate Unwavering Faith to get extra physical damage mitigation from each aura. With Harmony of Purpose we have Frenzy and Power Charges for better DPS, and finally we polish our defense layers with Bastion of Hope that perfectly synergize with our Mystic Bulwark Notable on top of stun immunity. This build is centered around Ivory Tower and is mana based, but we need to have a way to reserve our life. For that reason we are running Prison Guardian Shield that allow us to reserve life from the blood magic support and run 3 auras. First aura is Wrath aura for better DPS, then Wild Discipline to boost energy shield, and third aura is Flesh and Stone with Sand Stance for extra defense layer. To max out our life reservation we run blood magic support on any other gear piece with maximum level vitality aura and clarity aura on any suitable level. Since we are permanently on low life we can get Pain Attunement Keystone for extra damage. And with Zealot Oath Keystone we also convert our life regeneration from passive tree and vitality aura into energy shield regeneration. While Ivory Tower protects our extremely low life pool with mana pool from chaos damage, we sometimes can get to 0 mana and die from random chaos damage fluke. And to avoid exactly that, we are running the Coruscating Elixir Unique Flask. This flask allows us to protect our life with the energy shield from the chaos damage. And of course on bosses, since you do not have permanent flask, with the chaos damage, be sure that you are managing your mana correctly and never go through 0 mana. Then the Cinder Swallow Urn is perfect fit for this build and allow us to anoint the Intensify Notable on our Aziri Foible Amulet. And to boost our energy shield even further, we can use the Watcher's Eye with the 10% of maximum mana as extra energy shield from our Clarity Aura effect. And the last natural fit for this build would be the Crown of Inward Eye and Darkseer Scepter for all extra damage from our balance of life, mana and energy shield. For our 6th link we run numerous different spells since we are using Archmage support for main damage source. Shock Nova is one of my favorite spells for this build, but Purifying Flame is a really great option, and then even something like Crackling Lance is totally viable.
So let's go on Reddit and post that Crackling Lance is total trash spell. They already buffed it once for 313. Let's do it again so it would be total overpowered spell. This was Path of Exile, Balance, ISMR 101.
And once you decided what spell to run, we will run several supports. First is for your energy shield sustain, we will run energy leech support, and then to have extra damage on demand and extra area of effect for map clear, we will run the Intensify support with the Apex mode unique Jewel, and to scale both damage and mana sustain, we also can run spell Echo support. And the last link is your choice of increased area of effect or consecrated effect supports depending on your task ahead. Since we are Guardian, we have no way to generate Arcane Surge aside our Arcane Capacitor Notable on map clear. So adding level 20 Arcane Surge is a great way to buff our damage. And to trigger our Arcane Surge support, build run the Divergent Archmage with the Flame Dash and Second Wind support. By that we will trigger the Arcane Surge on level 20 every time when we use our Flame Dash movement skill. Our Dynamo setup is a bit different from League Starter builds. We cannot run Arcane Cloak since it would expose us to chaos damage, and since non-Blade Vortex spells are more mana hungry, it is reasonable to run Anomalous Immortal Cold with short cooldown and duration. To exploit anomalous version of this guard skill with the shorter cooldown, just add enhanced support and second wind support. And then just kill any skill duration with less duration support to have more frequent Dynamo notable triggers. While we inherit majority of our gear from the League Starter, we totally ditch Essence Swarm rings. That allow us to run dual Cerulean rings for extra mana and to ditch jewels with extra resists. That allow us to run the free Grand Spectrum unique jewels for extra elemental damage. And of course our belt is rare and it is sensible to get the crystal belt with the flat mana and chaos resist. And speaking of chaos resist, amount of rare items allow us to easily get our chaos resistance fixed at least 0%, but getting to 20 or maybe even 40 or 60 is actually quite possible. And don't forget about your flask with some shock, ignite and freeze immunity, since we do not have any elemental element immunity anymore from our Ascendancy. And to polish our build for extra damage on our single target encounters, let's run Wall Righteous Fire, and of course let's set up our cast 1 damage taken on level 1 with level 7 Wave of Conviction to get that automated damage scaling, but since we do not have a lot of buttons to press, we can totally run self-cast of our Conductivity Curse with maximum level 20. Our passive tree is pretty much small upgrade from Blade Vortex League Starter Archmage. I do provide path of building community fork version in the description. And if you want to skip League Starter and to level up this build from the get-go, just check level stages from previous video POB link. This passive tree is combination and balance of life and mana with sprinkle of energy shield. We trade a bit of life and mana to get Foresight and Arcane Focus notables to get that extra 1k energy shield. And we go for the hybrid life and energy shield nodes near Pain Attunement Keystone and get extra jewel socket for our third Grand Spectrum unique jewel. And other parts of damage scaling stays pretty much the same. Our defenses benefit even more from our Bastion of Hope Ascendancy with that extra spell block chance. And now of course the main part of the build guide. Can you sustain the damage? Yes, this build in the path of building on the paper do like 3 to 5 million serious DPS, especially with the Shock Nova. But when you go to the maps, yes, you can do everything. You can do your duel beyond, the quad sections, you can burst down everything with the map bosses as well. But once you go for something like Awakener Conquerors, the Sirius Awakener 8, you will start to understand that you simply could not sustain the damage. And unfortunately, after the 3.13 reveal, I think that this build is not quite there for the 3.13 League, unfortunately, because, well, this Mave stuff with the bosses, I think this build will struggle up there. Do not think that this build actually bad. Well, this build is really solid for the clear, for a lot of content, but unfortunately when you go for these single boss encounters, it just could not sustain that damage. And well, yes, on paper it says a lot of damage, but you know, Path of Exile in a nutshell. If the build promises to do a lot of damage, it does not mean that it actually can do that damage in the most important part of the game. So I thought that that build would be like Empire Strike Back of my Archmage trilogy, but unfortunately I think it is Attack of the Clones. And you know why? Because I included the Flesh and Stone with the Sand Dance, so sand got everywhere and everything is ruined. So I already tested the CI version of the Archmage build for the League Starter. This next video I'm really hyped to do that video, because that build, the next build, is really solid, can sustain the damage, have the damage and have the face tank. So thank you for watching and have a pleasant day. This is mainly Archmage Ivory Tower build. Ivory? Purifying Flame is a really great option, and even something like Crackling Lance is And since this build do not really have any reliable sauce. Alright, Cerulean. Cerulean. Сирия. Аметистовое колечко. Yeah, learning languages is sometimes fun.